Hey y'all, it's Poseidon, and in today's video, we got ourselves another episode of the Poseidcast, episode number 5. We've been going at it weekly since we started, so that's really good. I'm happy I've been staying consistent with it, and if you look up over here to the top right, we have some topics for today. Mavado just came out on Tuesday. New cameo for Mortal Kombat 1. He's pretty cool. We'll talk about that. And we're going to go over combo breaker entrances. So, combo breaker... there's a lot of people that are like dooming over the entrance numbers, saying they're not good, and I think it's just a big comparison between other games. They say comparison's the thief of joy, and you know we can't celebrate the fact that it's one of actually the biggest combo breaker in terms of entrances for Mortal Kombat ever. But we'll get into that. Then we're gonna go over the NA East and West finals for the pro competition. So the top 8s for both East and West are this weekend. Winner is in the Pro Comp finale automatically. Then we're going to talk about how the top 100 is underway. We're making the top 100 competitive ranking for Mortal Kombat 1 for summer 2024. So it was like spring or summer. It's basically the same thing. So summer 2024, starting from the beginning of 2024 to the end of June 2024. And then I'm going to go over just some personal things that are happening in my life, and just what I'm currently, doing in projects and, tournaments that have coming up, things like that. So, yeah, we'll get into it right away. Let's go. So we're going to start off, hey, Pepper. We're going to start off with Mavado. So Mavado came out on this past Tuesday, and super, super cool cameo, honestly, in my opinion. Very unique. They've been doing a really good job, NRS has been releasing really unique cameos. So Tremor was the first one, and he has like 3 different variations with different moves. And there's some complaints that like there's one move that's obviously very strong and way stronger than the others. But you still have the option to do those moves. He has like launchers, combo extenders. You can make any of his moves in ambush if you spend all the cameo meter. I know that's a big resource, but it ended up coming back pretty quickly. So is what it is. And then Chameleon also very unique cameo. She changes between the options that she has, and all the options she has are really good. I know people are upset and say she's the best, but the thing is, if they didn't make her things good, then because it constantly changes, you don't know which one you're always going to have at the time. Even though you can use the back cameo, the thing that turns you into like a crystal for like a second, to kind of go between them, you still have to do something like that, and it still changes on you on a timer. So I feel like if she was bad, she would just be completely useless. So I feel like they kind of made her all broken. They kind of made her more broken than they intended. But she's a really good cameo. I feel like they are going to nerf her at some point, but it's still a very unique cameo. Then they came out with Janet, and they gave you like a pseudo Sento stance. It's obviously, I don't think, as good as Sento, but still very good nonetheless. And then she has the punch move, which allows you to combo extend off basically anything. So if you have like Ermac has a lot of moves where he kind of ends with like a lift up, and then you could use Janet. That's why Janet is probably his best cameo. A lot of characters get throw combos and stuff. I think they toned down her damage a little bit in this most recent patch when they added Mavado, but not a ton. I don't think it makes a huge difference for her. And then now we have Mavado. And Mavado, you have combo extenders. A lot of his things like don't work, don't come out. They're like ambush, but like they're not. It's like almost like we need another term for what these moves do, because like a lot of them only work if you launch. So if your opponent is in the middle of a juggle, you can do them. So it's like you can like call him in after you do a move that's not special cancelable, like you need to do when you're using a summon cameo. But you can't just throw him in whenever like you can with an ambush. So it's interesting, and I wonder if we should come up with a different name for it, but here's what it is. So like for example with Reptile, you can combo off like anything. You can combo off 4-2-4. You can combo off back 3-1-3. You can combo off 4-2-1-1 or 4-3-1-1. You can like the combo potential is pretty crazy. He has a move where you can like end it after a throw, or if their opponent's a knockdown, it does like a slide. That move is also quite interesting. Or I think you can do it in a combo as well. He has like this mine move that's like a setup, but it's like a trap, and it gives most of the characters in the game. I know it doesn't give all characters, but most of the characters get throw combos. For example, Reptile gets a 24% throw combo, or maybe 24-ish percent throw combo that gives him invisibility with the mime. So you do a back throw, and then you throw out the mime or the mine. I wouldn't call it mine. mean, it's basically what it is. It's a setup thing. It's red and it glows and stuff like that. Basically a mine. And it allows, you know, him to go invisible. It shocks the opponent. He goes invisible and then can do 2 force ball extenders into, you know, jump 2-3-3 teleport combo, and you get 24%, and you're invisible. Pretty cool. It does take all the cameo meter, but I think NRS has done a very good job at not only making unique cameos, but making unique characters too. Because if we look back and think about it, like Omni-Man, very unique. He has the Voltramite stance, and he kind of has like the Superman move where he detects you from full screen and stuff like that. Like he seems quite unique, and then he has like the move where he can like dash in the air and extend his combos, and then Quan has the portals, stuff like that, and then Peacemaker kind of has like, you know, the elite projectiles and stuff like that, and like, you know, the force field and the way you can combo extend, and then Ermac, you know, has like the cancels and things like that, and, you know, teleport and stuff. They're unique characters in their own right, and same thing with the cameos. And I think Mavado's really cool. I haven't had a ton of time to play him. It seems like the consensus is that he's really good with some characters, Liu Kang, Shao, from what I hear, Lao. You can combo extend off a lot of people's armored moves now. So like Astra gets like dumb damage off like just an armored launcher. Foresight Reptile doesn't get anything from armor. Sad day for Reptile. It's always a sad day for Reptile, except for the last patch where he got kind of buffed. But Mavado seems like a really cool character. It looks like he's not going to be available at Combo Breaker because, like, I'm actually not 100% sure, because people are saying like because he didn't come out. But like, so when a new DLC character drops, there is like a grace period. So if you got like the premium edition of the game, which is like $100, you get the character like a week early or 5 days early or something like that, kind of like how we got the game early. And then sorry, my cat is there's something right there. He's like distracting you in a second. But so people are saying like, oh, well, it's because you got the cameo early, but actual access isn't until a week later. But like, from what I hear, that's actually not true, and you don't actually get early access to cameos. If you get the premium edition, you only get early access to the characters, and then when the cameo comes out, that's just the normal release date. So it's interesting to see if he'll actually be available. From what I hear, though, currently not available. Combo Break, but he's really cool. I look forward to playing him more. I'm probably gonna be streaming later today. But I mean, let's kind of go with the fifth topic. But I have been training a lot for a Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament that's coming up next weekend, the weekend of the 17th through the 19th of May. So I haven't really been playing a lot of MK, so I haven't been able to touch Mavado a lot. So I do apologize if I haven't been able to talk about all of the things that Mavado can do, or if my Mavado topic was about other things, but how they make unique cameos. But he's a unique character. He seems really cool. You get the back launcher and the down launcher. So if they're like, if you launch them in the air, then you can a lot of the times do the down like launcher combo. Yo guys, I'm back. Sorry, something kind of came up. It's going to be a bit of a rough edit, but it is what it is. Stuff happens. I'll explain later, or maybe if you follow me on Twitter, you know what happens. You know what happened. But yeah, we're kind of talking about Mavado and his launchers, and that if you do like a launching in the air and not so much forward, then you could do like the down Mavado, or that's the up cameo button. And if you do the if you launch them like away, then you do the away cameo. And a lot of the times you can combo off it, like Reptile like stand 3, you can combo off it if you do the away cameo in call, and then so it's really cool. And then he has like kind of like a pseudo spear move, like kind of like Scorpion, where he comes behind them and kind of drags you together, and I think you come up, so you get like some plus frames, so you get like kind of like an Oki situation. It's funny because it does damage to you too. So I saw Mr. Aquaman posted a clip of him doing that move when both him and his opponent were at low damage, and it caused a match extended. And it happens when you guys both at the same time reach 0%, and it gives you like 20% each, and it kind of allows you to continue. So that's funny. And I think that the move actually seems a lot better. When I'm first using it, I'm like, wow, that move's useless, but it might actually have some use. It's especially good if your character has a hard time like locking down zoners, so you can kind of get in and make some stuff happen, be in their face. I think it's good with Reptile, because I feel like that's one of the things Reptile struggles with, is being able to get, closed in on your opponent. and you especially use like force ball with it, and then you do the pull in and I'll hit them. You can't really get any combos off. I thought maybe that was a cool idea, but then like because when you pull them into the force ball, it like you both like kind of fall down, so it's like you can't really combo extend off it at all. I'll have to look more into that, but like I said, I haven't had a ton of time to play Mavado, but he's really cool, and I plan on experimenting with him more, so you'll see more Mavado gameplay on my channel. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into the second topic, which is going to be Combo Breaker. And the thing is, people, I've noticed, like, wow, Mortal Kombat doesn't have many entrances at Combo Breaker this year. 274, and you look at a game like Tekken, which, again, recently came out, but not too much longer after, like, MK came out in September and Tekken came out in January. That's not too far away. Tekken has over 1,600 entrances, and MK has 274. And I think when you compare those, and I said the comparisons of Thief of Joy, I said that before, is that we can't celebrate the fact that this is, I think, the second biggest combo breaker for Mortal Kombat, and the second biggest Mortal Kombat 1 event, ever. And we're 8 months into the game, and the thing is with Mortal Kombat games is they tend to die out pretty quickly. Usually there's a lot of hype around it, and there's a lot of people that play them when the game first comes out, and usually after like 6 months to a year, the game kind of dies down, and it's usually down to like the diehards. And it's because the game does have a pretty big casual audience. And that's, kind of why. But the thing is, it generally is a W. It's just the fact that we have like 8 times less entrances in the Tekken, so people are like, wow, game's dead, or people don't care about it. And the thing is, it also is a pro comp event, but as I said, it's the second biggest MK event by only like 25 entrances. The biggest one was ECT, and that was a month after the game came out. And the thing is, like, ECT was announced that it was going to have MK1 like a month, or not even that month, like a week or so after MK1 was even announced that it was going to be made. And because like ECT kind of was like announcing that they were running a tournament at the same time, and so a lot of people were planning, like I was planning to go to that before I even knew it was a pro comp event. And then it was made into a pro comp event, which got some last second entrances, and they allowed entrances to stay open until like a couple of days, or maybe just a week before, when usually they close relatively soon before. And FGC players, they love to plan last second. So the fact that they had the last second opportunity, plus 10,000 pop-overs just thrown on there, plus pro comp points to ECT, and the fact that it was like a month after the game came out, and then this event only has 225 less entrances, despite being 8 months into the game, I think is a decent W. And like I said, the second most entrances for a Mortal Kombat tournament, I think it might have been 2019 Combo Breaker, when MK11 was out for, I think, a month, maybe even less. That might have had more entrances, and that might be the biggest Combo Breaker besides this one. But I think, the dooming and acting like MK is dead, or like nobody plays this game, is a little, because like, I remember I saw this post, and the person was talking about how when you look at the people who are entering MK, all the people, or a lot of the people that are entering, have like a legit shot at doing really well, like top 32, top 16, maybe even top 8. But if you look at players like Tekken or Street Fighter, there's a lot of like casual people who know that they're gonna 0-2, 1-2, 2-2. They probably know they're not even gonna make it out of pools, or if they do, they're not gonna be able to go on a big run. So there seems to be just a lack of people that want to go out and travel to tournaments in general for Mortal Kombat. And I feel like a big thing is there's a lot of online events for MK, and I'm not sure how popular it is in other communities, but when MK has pretty much online events every day. Like, you could play for money on Mortal Kombat basically every day. And there's tournament series, like there's HDDG, which is every Tuesday. There's TNS every Thursday. There is Friday Sunday every Sunday. And there's other big tournament series, and I feel like I've talked about this before at length. But there is just a lot of events happening online, to the point where people, you don't need to travel to really prove yourself. You don't need to travel to prove yourself. You don't need to travel to make money. You don't even need to travel to make the Pro Comp. Half the Pro Comp qualifiers, people who are qualifying for the Pro Comp event through regions specifically, which is 10 of them, I think, all qualify online. So, and then you get Pro Comp points online. So most of the people that are qualifying for the Pro Comp did it through online events. So even like the biggest thing where you can make, not make, but there's a prize pool of $200,000 for Final Combat, you can qualify that pretty much exclusively online. So the desire to travel offline is kind of just basically a desire for yourself to kind of prove yourself, or maybe you like offline more. And there's people that are like offline purists. I know there's a really good player, goes by tag Mike Metroid, who's from the tri-state area, who has like openly said like, yeah, I'm not gonna compete online. I don't compete online in this game. And that's like understandable, and it's cool that there's people that are like that. And I'm not saying more people should be like that, but it'd be cool if more people wanted to go offline, because I feel like that is the most legit experience. And I feel like there's just a lot of stuff that goes along with online play that makes it, I don't say difficult, but it makes it hard, and it makes results a little arbitrary. I don't know if it's not 100%, because there's people who are like legitimately amazing players who only compete online, and they're super good, and you know they should get their flowers and they should be respected. But then there's so many things like connection, and then there's like DQs are very common, because like you can there's so low a commitment to completing an online event that you know, like you can sign up. There's times where I've signed up and then it's like, you know, my girlfriend's like, hey, let's go out to dinner or something like that. And I'm like, all right, you know, and I'll DQ, or I don't really like DQing, so sometimes I'll just play and I'll just like sandbag. I'll just be like, all right, like I'll just lose, and then, you know, I'll go out to eat with my girlfriend. And you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not gonna say I'm like a great player, but I'm like a decent win. You know, you beat Poseidon in bracket, and it's like, that's pretty good. But there's a lot of times where I'm just like, all right, like I have something else to do. I signed up for this tournament, I didn't realize I was gonna have something else to do, and you know, it is what it is. You know, I find it funny. My glasses also are like reflecting on the screen. You can see, like, yeah, it's funny. All right, this was kind of just distracting, so I bring that up. Okay, but yeah, so the combo breaker entrances is not something that we should really be too upset about. And then there's people saying like, oh, I remember I was talking to this person on Twitter, and they're like, MK is the second newest game at Combo Breaker, and it has like the 8th most entrances. I remember they showed like the top 8 entrances, and it was like MK was last. Like, wow, it's last. It's like, no, it's not last. It's just the last one in the top 8. There's literally like, it's in the upper half of main games in terms of entrances at Combo Breaker. Like, even though like Marvel vs. Capcom is a way older game, it has almost double the entrances of Marvel vs. Capcom. It has more entrances than Super Smash Bros. Melee. It has, you know, it has a decent amount of entrances. It's just when you compare it to the tippy top, it doesn't have more, but you can kind of justify it. It's like Tekken 8, one of the newest fighting games, huge fighting game in terms of the competitive scene. Street Fighter, potentially the biggest competitive fighting game in the world. Guilty Gear Strive, probably the biggest anime fighter. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, newer than MK. You know, Eunice, newer than MK. And then like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, you know, bigger than MK. Probably the biggest fighting game in the world in terms of just actual player base. So it's like, it kind of makes sense, you know, the entrances, and it's still a good, and I still think generally it's still a decent W for MK. And, you know, if anything, if people are upset, then people should go out and show up more. And, you know, you don't need to listen to other people. If you like if you don't like the game, then obviously don't show up. But if you like the game, or if you just like the community and want to support the community, it's always good to show up and support locals, support majors, especially if you're in the area, support regionals, you know. It's just a general good idea because it helps the community as a whole. And yeah, and like it seems like with like Tekken and Street Fighter, there's like people who are like have been competing for years, who just kind of show up to events, who have been competing for like 20 years. And like MK competitive doesn't really seem like it started. I mean, there was a scene for it, I'm sure, and stuff, but it was difficult until like MK9. So it's the competitive community is like 11 or maybe 13 years old. I guess if it started at the beginning of 9. So, you know, that's relatively new for an overall competitive fighting game. And, you know, like I said, like there seems like there's a lot of older players or people who competed, you know, in MK9, MKX, Injustice 2 days, or Injustice 1 days even, that like kind of talk down. And it's kind of like, you know, it's like the classic like good old days. And some of those games got a lot, like MKX and Injustice 2 had like big pro tours and stuff like that, and some of these games got a lot of support, and then there's these people that play in those games that talk about MK1 so negatively to the point where there's events that don't want to run it. And I've talked about, you know, on like Twitter how like, you know, there's Smash events have adopted. There's a lot of Smash events that have adopted running traditional fighting games, and not a single one has had MK. and it stinks. And there's events, you know, like UFA, which was a pro comp event last year in November, outright doesn't have MK, but I'll have game like Dragon Ball, and people will be like, well, it's because it's a business thing. But like the thing is, like a game like Tekken or Street Fighter or Guilty Gear may have more interest than MK, but like what other game besides those? In fighting game tournament, they don't have just those 3 games; they have more than that. So to act like it's just a, you know, MK game and the amount of entrances they would get, it doesn't, you know, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. I don't know how true that actually part is, but it is generally, there's such a negative just view of Mortal Kombat in terms of the FTC in general that people don't want to enter, and then, you know, there's always negative. And even when we have the second most entrances at a Combo Breaker, it's the second most entrances for Mortal Kombat of one event to date, and it's the biggest one of 2024. Then I don't know if there's really a reason to talk negatively about it unless you're just comparing us or MK to other games. Okay, so I think that's going to end that talk, and then we're going to go and talk about NA East and West Finals happening this Sunday. So the winner of the NA East, the winner of the NA West is going to get an automatic qualifying spot for Final Combat, which will be really cool. There's some players who definitely don't really need it, and there's some players who do need it. So what happens if, let's say, Ninja Killa and Sonic Fox both are likely qualified through points? So let's say, I mean, I heard Sonic Fox isn't competing in the West. Let's say hypothetically, Sonic Fox won the West, Ninja Killa won the East. Whoever got second place would qualify for Final Combat. So that's really cool. So I'm going to go look over here. Going to talk over the East and who's going to be playing in the East. So we have the 1 seed, we have Ninja Killa, then 2 Unjust, 3 Gerectio, 4 Combat, 5 Pulse, 6 Sunio, 7 Just Nasty, 8 Joystick. So that'll be really cool to see. So I really haven't seen Just Nasty play the game that much. So I wonder if he's even going to play. I mean, I assume he would. Like, why you're going to get a qualifying spot? Like, no. But Just Nasty, obviously insane player, so I'm sure he'll be ready and good to go. So that'll be really cool to see. I've seen Ninja Killa looking like he's going to qualify through points. Unjust could potentially qualify through points. He's like the first person out in terms of overall points, and he still has Combo Breaker, which I'm pretty sure he's going to. So even if he doesn't qualify here, he doesn't get first or second place behind Ninja Killa, who points, he probably could still potentially qualify for Final Combat through points if he does well at Combo Breaker, which I'm sure he will, because Unjust has been an absolute tear. But the other players, get Rectio, Combat, Pulse, likely need to win Sunio, Just Nasty, Joystick, and likely need to win this weekend to get a qualifying spot. So, honestly, I think my prediction, I think Ninja Killa is going to win in Combat. It's going to get second, and then Combat will get an automatic spot. And I think Unjust will get third. But I think Unjust could definitely win. Unjust has shown he can beat Combat. He can beat Ninja Killa. He can beat anyone. So, but that's just my prediction for this. I'm not going to go over match by match, stuff like that. But that's my prediction, is that Combat is going to qualify for Final Combat. Ninja Killa is going to win, but Combat's going to qualify for Final Combat through this. And then Unjust could potentially still qualify for Final Combat through Combo Breaker and getting more pro points that way. And then the West Coast, we have King Gambler, Dexy Dog, Sonic Fox, Rewind, Hourglass of Rain, Han Rashid, Online Kale, and Wise Gemini. So from what I hear, I have a source, inside source, secret. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but his tag is Tweety. But he did confirm that Sonic Fox, or at least told me that Sonic Fox isn't going to be playing. So it looks like the person who got 9th place in it, Wani and Lauer, who was a Scorpion player, is going to be qualifying and getting a spot in the finale. Dexy Dog actually won the most recent West, and there's been 3 different winners for the West. For the East Coast, the 3 weeks, it was Ninja Killa, Unjust, and for the West, it was Sonic Fox, Hourglass of Rain, Dexy Dog. So my prediction is Gambler can still make it through points. Sonic Fox likely to make it through points. I think I want to go out on a limb and say Dexy Dog's going to win, because but then it's kind of like, people talk about this, and I watch a lot of like sports, and there's like sports talk where they talk about when someone wins, or when a team wins like in the playoffs, you kind of think like, how is this team going to lose? Like in the NBA, when they play a 4-game series, when they win game 1, it's like, how is this team ever going to lose? And it's like, you kind of get into that. So it's kind of like, I don't know if it's because Dexy Dog won the last event that I'm like, he's going to win this one. But okay, my prediction, I think I'm going to say Han Rashid. Rashid is going to take it this weekend. He's going to win, and he's going to qualify for Final Combat. I think King Gambler will still qualify through points in Sonic Fox. And Rewind still has a shot. Like, Rewind is super good at Combo Breaker, which he definitely can. They still make it as well. Potentially a lot of people, but that's just my prediction. Rashid versus Rewinding Rams. Rashid takes it. That's my prediction. And yeah, so that's just going to be, it's going to be streamed on NetherRealm Esports. I'm actually like, it's like kind of hard. Like, it's like not exactly like transparent of where you can watch the event, but I'll try to leave a link in the description of where you can watch the event this weekend. I'm pretty sure it's like 5 or 6 o'clock EST is when the East is going to be, and then 9 o'clock EST is when the West is going to be. I think something like that. But I'll make sure to try to find that link and get that in the description for you guys, so you guys can watch the finale this weekend. But I'm sure you'll find it, because as soon as it's on, they're going to have like 1,000 some odd views, and there's going to be people restreaming. I'm sure someone like Tweety or Slayer will be restreaming the event, so you can watch it on one of those channels if you can't find the actual ProComp channel. So really cool stuff, and it's really fun to see how this is going to shake up and who is going to be in Final Combat. Okay, so the fourth topic is that the top 100 ranking is underway. I came up with a very, very, very rough draft of the top 100 ranking myself, and the thing is, we have a team now. So it's me, it's Sparks, it's the Alphabet, it's Nips, and I feel bad. I don't want to say his name, his tag. I'm gonna go look for it real quick. 2 seconds. Where is it? Yautja? Yautja. I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic, and like when names have so many consonants and stuff, it's hard to read. His Twitter is Jerry Dankfield, but he's going to be part of the top 100 ranking as well committee. So we have 5 people who are going to be on it and making the list, and so it's going to be really cool, because last time for the 2023 I made it completely myself. My girlfriend helped with the graphics, but in terms of like getting the rankings and like kind of finding the results and ordering them from 1 to 100 was all limited. So it's going to be really cool doing that. But we have a rough draft underway. It is in the process of being fully made, and obviously it's going to take into account all results from the beginning of 2024, so January 1st to the end of June. So that's going to include events like Frosty Frostings, Texas Showdown, Level Up Expo, Combo Breaker, CEO, Final Combat, all the Pro Comp events that happened online, except for ones that happened in 2023, which I think was only like one Mexico event. I think that was the only one that happened in 2023. And I think maybe one of the Liga Latina North or South ones happened in 2023 as well. So all those events, including the finals for those events, are going to be included in the ranking. So that's really cool, and it's going to be really cool to see how it's shaken up from 2023 to summer 2024. And yeah, so we have a team, and it's underway. We have a rough draft, and people are going to be making their own lists. It's going to be really cool to see. So a big reason is, why do I go through all the effort to make that? It actually is a pretty decent project, and you'd be surprised how long it takes in order to make something like actually accurate and actually have tangible results that you can justify basically each ranking with results, and not just like, I think this player is really good. Because I feel like when people make top 10 or top 20 players in the world, like, it's somewhat off results, but it's kind of a lot off like feel, and it's not like they're going through and like showing like, okay, this person got XYZ results. Maybe they'll show like 1 or 2, but so but it's nice to, one, it gives some people something to strive for, and it gives like some structure to the competitive community. So just because you're not going to be the best player in the world doesn't mean that you can't be satisfied or happy the fact that you got ranked 80th. You know what I mean? Because that's still really good. You're still putting in a lot of time and effort to be at that level. So to reward people who are putting in the time and into the competitive scene is something that I'm makes me happy and makes me want to create the top 100 ranking. Another thing is potentially getting players like sponsorships and stuff like that, so people can actually see like, hey, like, I'm sponsoring the 15th ranked player in the world currently, and they have XYZ results, and you can it's just like a central location to find where players currently stand. Because like the thing is, like, pro comp points, that's really based on like attendance, and like obviously you have to meet a minimum requirement, so you have to attend either a certain amount of online events or like at least one major offline event to be considered. So as long as you make that, and you're entering some sort of minimum, then it's like, for example, Sonic Fox. The only result I could find from them in 2023 was ECT, and they won, which was the biggest online event, and they beat like Ninja Kill, they beat like so many good players, to the point where I had to rank them #1, despite them only having one entrance. So it's like, when it comes to like something like pro comp points, a lot of that is like, obviously you need to do really well, but it rewards, you know, repeat attending and stuff like that. So if you don't attend, you know, every single, you know, off or pro comp event, then you just aren't you know, or you likely cannot qualify, or you don't get as many points as someone who did, you know what I mean? So it's like, like just being like, oh, the pro comp points is the actual ranking, is just, it's not exactly tangible. And the thing is also, the pro comp points is that, like, different regions, so there's some regions where they had like 15 people in the actual event, so if you made like top 8, you got points. Pro comp points, like a decent amount of pro comp points, but like compared to an event like NA East, where there was like over 100 people that entered, so it's completely different than the guilds and stuff like that. So it gives that, so it can give an actual feel of how good players are. It gives them something tangible to go off of. It helps tournaments with seeding as well. Something I noticed in the MK community, at least towards the end of 11. They've been a lot better with 1, but even still, some, you know, some things fall through the cracks. Is just helping with seeding and helping the tournaments be seeded accurately, which gives an overall really good, like, just overall good player experience. Because, you know, if there's like 10 good players in one pool and only 3 get out, like, some people are gonna drown in pools and they're gonna get a bad result, and that result isn't going to be tangible of how good they are, because they just play players who are really good. Like, for example, at Combo Breaker 2022, I lost to someone who got 9th, and I lost to someone who got 4th, and I got 33rd. You know what I mean? Like, the pool that I was in was just absolutely stacked to the brim, to the point where I didn't make it out, but the people that beat me literally made it super far in the tournament. So sometimes, and it's just something that could potentially help with that as well. I think it's just a really cool project. It adds to a general health of the scene. It allows people to see where they're at, and gives people something to strive for, and gives sponsors something to look at and be like, this is something that, you know, they can be like, yeah, I said, like, I'm sponsoring the 13th ranked player in the world or something, and it's not like just one person who won a single tournament and stuff like that. So I think it's a cool idea. I think it's a lot of fun. Something I definitely took directly from the Smash community, and I think it's something that is just, you know, really cool for the scene. And I hope, you know, over time, people start to enjoy it. And I would love to get to a point where there's enough offline events and people interested in going to the point where we don't really count online events. At this point, we definitely have to. And if it's a big online, like if it's a pro comp event, like if it's like, that'll definitely count. But just like, there's a bit of an arbitrary nature to online events. And like results, like sometimes people get like DQ'd to top 8. Like the most recent Survivor Sunday, like people were DQing to top 16 or top 16 winners, and like you basically need to win like 1 match to get top 8. And it's like, in a way, they can get a little arbitrary with online events, and then there's connection issues and stuff like that. That, you know, can favor one person over the other. So eventually it would be cool to make it so the online top 100 is just based off offline results, especially just solely for majors, but we're definitely not at that point. And, you know, maybe people will get to a point where it's important enough to get on the top 100 that people want to go out and travel more and stuff. So that's basically another potential incentive to make their ranking. But, you know, I digress. And it's just, yeah, something fun that we're going to be doing. So, yeah, and we have a committee, so let's go. So now we're going to be moving on to the last one, which is, you know, personal, what's going on with me. So, as I stated in the beginning, I'm pretty sure I have been training for a Super Smash Bros. Melee event that's going to be happening next weekend, and I haven't been playing a ton of MK, and some of my posts have slowed down a little bit in terms of at least YouTube uploads. I try to upload something every day, but now it's kind of like every other day at this point. Just because, like, you know, a lot of my free time, you know, because I still work full time, but that's a lot of my free time is spent, you know, practicing, making videos, stuff like that. I still have Survivor TV as well that I need to, you know, where we upload all the sets that play on the stream. We edit them, make thumbnails, and put them on the Survivor TV YouTube channel. So if you're not following over there, consider dropping a sub. I would greatly appreciate that. But it's just a lot of time, so it's like, if I want to actually train and give my all and use most of my free time to practice, then, you know, I have to cut some other stuff out and then, you know, uploading videos. To the point where the last video I uploaded, my Mavado But up top of it, I literally recorded on my lunch break from work. So I literally went on break, recorded it, and then worked and then edited it a little bit afterward. And so it's just, you know, that's kind of where I'm at in terms of, you know, content and stuff like that, at least for recently. And then the following week after that is Combo Breaker, which I'm playing in Melee and MK. So now, and then I need to train back up in MK. And then 2 weeks after Combo Breaker is King of Upstate, big FGC tournament in upstate New York that's going to have Melee and MK as well. And so I'm going to need to train up for that. And then the following week after that is Final Combat LCQ, which I'm planning on going to because it's relatively close to me. I'm in New York and LCQ is in Toronto, so it's not all incredibly long drive, so I can drive there. So I should be going to that as well. So I have a lot of things I really want to train for, and I really want to try to do well. So content may slow down a little bit. But just, you know, just for me personally, I'm going to get a little deep here and stuff that's happened. So back in February, I found out that my dad passed away. And sorry if I get a little too personal. If you don't want to listen to this, I understand. My dad passed away, and that was a bit difficult on me. We honestly weren't like incredibly close. You know, he's definitely did some things that like, you know, didn't make my family very happy. But it was still obviously very difficult. And I needed to help out a decent amount with. I needed to travel down there a bunch. I needed to, you know, take time to do things. You know, I mean, like his house and stuff that was left there. I need to go in there and take stuff. We took in his cats. And, you know, just, you know, stuff generally that happens, having to call and list the body and stuff like that. I don't want to, you know, get too far into it and make people uncomfortable. But that was hard, and even like from a financial standpoint. And then back in December, my brother actually got sick. My brother has Crohn's disease. Which is, and he has a pretty aggressive case of it, pretty much a digestive disorder, to the point where he's pretty sick, and right now he's actually quite sick, and to the point where actually in December I had to drop everything and go down there because he needed an emergency surgery. And the sad truth about that is that the surgery wasn't as successful as they were hoping it would be, so he's not fully recovering, and he's likely going to have to do a experimental surgery to potentially reset his immune system. And all this is just been difficult on me, and it stinks because at a time where I needed, you know, more money to come in so I can help my family more, because on top of all this, my mom needed some mouth surgery, not like too severe, but she needed it. It wasn't like life or death thing, but she definitely needed it. So it's like, and I needed to help all these ways financially, and the point where I really needed, like, you know, more money to come in through the video game stuff, like through tournaments and stuff like that. The sad truth is I haven't been playing as well, and I don't necessarily want to use it like as an excuse that, oh, I have all these personal things going on. But there is a big correlation between when I started playing bad and when all this bad stuff started happening. Like a direct correlation. And I try, like I said, like, you know, sometimes you go through slumps and sometimes you just don't do well. But it was just really poor timing. And it's been difficult on me. And there's definitely more tournaments that I wanted to go to. Like after Final Combat, there's CEO that I was originally planning on going to. But looking like I'm not going to be able to afford that. And then Evo as well. Probably won't be able to afford that either, unless, you know, I just absolutely crush it at some of these offline tournaments or online tournaments, or, you know, I'm able to get monetized on YouTube and bring in more money that way. Just so you know, when you support these videos, or when you support me in general, or like on my Twitch and you watch me, either way, or, you know, in any capacity, even if, like, follow me on Twitter. You're basically helping me, you know, support my family, and also help me, you know, get to more tournaments and stuff like that. Obviously, my family comes first. So if it's to the point where I was really in like dire straits and I had no money at all, like I'm not trying to think bag loot, please. It's just like I wouldn't be going to these tournaments. Like obviously, I would sacrifice those for my family. So I'm not in like a dire point, but it would just, I'm getting to the point where I need to rely solely on money that I make through the video game stuff to keep doing the video game stuff, to go to tournaments and stuff like that, to support and buy more equipment and stuff like that, to support Super TV, because I have to put money in Super TV every single week to afford the prize pools, and then I'm running, you know, the Injustice 2 and MK1 tournaments that I need to put money into too. So like, you know, I would love to get to the point where all that is self-sustaining. It's difficult. I've definitely been working really hard, and, you know, something like this, like, once I'm able to, monetize the YouTube videos and stuff like that, that'll help me get to a point where hopefully I can start sustaining itself. And we have Shari TV, and that's monetized, so we get a little bit of revenue from the YouTube channel and the Twitch and stuff like that. So that's really cool. I'd love to get to the point where it's all self-sustaining potentially, but who knows? And that's kind of a big ask. But that's essentially where I'm at. There's definitely been just a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, and I kind of just wanted to get it out there and stuff like that. I hope that wasn't too much or too deep. I appreciate everyone that has supported me thus far in my FTC journey, and I appreciate everyone who watches the videos. If you made it to this point, I appreciate you a lot. Thank you all so much. I'm just going to keep going, keep trucking along, keep making videos, keep making the podcast every week, keep running my tournaments, and just train my heart out and try to do all these tournaments I have coming up. But thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Poseidcast. Please make sure to leave a like and a comment if you could. Really appreciate it if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And I'm going to leave a link like in a box, at the end of the video, where I'll list all the other podcasts. So if you haven't watched any of the previous ones, consider giving those a listen or checking out any of the other videos on the channel. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys at the next video.